beginning of December, I asked my viewers to send in their Jabba-related creations, especially those with a holiday theme, and they have come through with flying colors. I've received literally dozens of submissions of various types, and I'd like to show them to you today. While I'm doing a little initial explaining, I thought I would show you my Hutmas tree, which is my Jabba-themed Christmas tree, which I bring out some years. It's got all of my Jabba-themed ornaments and my Jabba-themed lights that I made with 3D printing a while back on a video, and various other things like that. As I said, I received lots of submissions. I'm a little bit afraid that I may have overlooked someone somewhere. If you go through this whole video and you find that your submission is not there, do please get in contact with me somehow, and I will put it on a YouTube post and also on Twitter if you're okay with that. I can't really make another separate video just for one or two people that I may have overlooked, but I would like to get you out there somehow. But hopefully I haven't overlooked anyone. So just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that these are all things that people have worked hard on, so, be nice. Our first submission is this epic life-sized Jabba costume by 12-year-old Max, who apparently handmade it with probably a little bit of help from his dad. Max has apparently been a Jabba fan since he was 5 years old, and he also sent along some in-progress photos of the process of making him. Looks like he's made out of some foam, perhaps, and cardboard, chicken wire, and papier-mâché. Really impressive stuff. I'm not sure that I could do this myself. So thanks very much, Max, for sending this in. Our next submission is from Brad, who's a teacher, and who used this plush Jabba as a kind of mascot for his classroom, and so they would dress him up in seasonally appropriate outfits, such as this one for the start of football season in September. Then we have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and graduation, and of course various other holidays in between. I thought that was very clever and definitely appropriate for the holiday theme of this video. Next we have a drawing from Colton. It says, "Merry Christmas throughout the galaxy," and shows Jabba's palace at Christmas time. On the left we have what looks to be a gift from Boba Fett to Jabba in the form of Han and carbonite, and there's also a little thermal detonator up there I see. Jabba seems to be licking a candy cane instead of his usual hookah pipe, and there's a note from Bib saying they need a taller tree so that they can fit the Han and carbonite under it. Very creative and definitely fits the holiday theme. Speaking of Boba Fett, we have this very impressive drawing from Martin of Boba Fett, and he's got all the colors and details very well portrayed there. I'm impressed by this. Thank you very much, Martin. Francois from France sent along this Merry Life Day card showing Jabba relaxing at home with a good book in front of a roaring fire, and I really think this is a cozy looking image. This next one is a Jabba-themed birthday cake that Matthew made for a friend of his. It was his first 3D cake, and I think that's actually pretty impressive. It was banana-flavored with lemon frosting and almond fondant. I like the way he's clutching the candles here, personally. Our next submission is a custom action figure made by Poncho's Toy Box here on YouTube. I'll link their channel in the video description. And it's actually based on a Ralph McQuarrie concept art piece that I am familiar with, but I had never really noticed that there was another droid there behind EV-99, and so that's the droid that they are recreating here, and I think they did a really good job. Next we have two submissions from Rhino from South Africa. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. The first is this drawing of Santa Jabba, and I really like how he made him look kindly in his face here. Well done. He also sent in one of his Lego creations. This is apparently Jabba receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. And I'll have to say, I really like the way your mind works. 13-year-old Daniel sent in two items as well. This is a rock painted with Jabba on it. And he also sent a Max Rebo sculpture he made with air-dry clay and then painted. Well done. Next up we have this handmade plushie sent in by Sam. Now, Sam actually has a YouTube channel of his own here called Sam's Scaled Models, where he restores old toys and things like that, which I find very interesting personally, so check it out if you want to. It's in the video description. But anyway, Sam said that he was inspired by one of my videos to try his hand at making a plush of his own, and he obviously did quite a good job. He sent along some in-progress photos as well of the process of making it, and I'm really impressed by this. Thanks for sending this in, Sam. Next, we have a father and son submission. The first one we're going to look at is from the son Henry, who's 7 years old, and who actually did submit something for the previous viewer creations video. This shows Santa as Jabba and the mascot from Henry's YouTube channel, which is called Talking Tree Gaming. So if you want to check that out, you can look at the video description. And here is Henry's dad's submission, which is obviously based on the Jabba Glob figure in the package, but he has made it a holiday edition. Too much frognog, it says. It's kind of a nice callback to one of my earlier videos. Thank you very much, Henry and Henry's dad. Next, we have an animated piece from Frank. He animated this and added his own music, apparently. It shows Jabba as Santa Claus there with some winter-themed creatures from Star Wars and Yoda taking the place of Salacious Crumb. That's pretty cool. Deke sent in several photos of his 6-inch Black Series Jabba's Palace display, including a lot of custom figures and some 3D printed figures as well, like that Max Rebo in the background, and C-3PO and the Hammerhead, apparently. I thought using cotton batting material here to represent the smoke from Jabba's pipe was really creative. Ian from England sent along this picture of some woodblock figures that he's made that are kind of inspired by the kettle art woodblock figures that I have in my collection, and I think these are really amazing. But not only that, he's also made this 1/6 scale selection of figures from Jabba's Palace completely from scratch, which blows me away. Here's another view of that same figure, this time with Leia on the throne. This is really, really impressive stuff, Ian. Thank you very much for sending this in. Next up, we have some animated pixel art from Morit, I think it's pronounced. They go by the name Ballad Strawberry on Instagram, and I'll link them in the video description. This really reminds me of classic video games, and it's really well done. I'm very impressed by this. My daughter did this drawing of Jabba in a Santa hat with some reindeer instead of the gargoyles around his throne, and Leia giving him a good talking to for all the things that he put her through. In the background, you can see a Gamorrean guard peeking around the doorway, saying, "Is he all right?" Callum, who goes by the name Brickinator here on YouTube, sent this custom Lego Jabba's Palace, which I think looks really cool and reminds me a lot of the one that I made, actually, which is definitely a good thing in my book. Thanks for sending this in. Adam sent along this picture of Santa Jabba, and I like the way he's put Christmas balls instead of the gargoyle heads on the throne, and how he's holding a candy cane there and a sack of presents, presumably. I also really like his little beard. Robert from the UK sent along this completely scratch-built Jabba on throne. Apparently he used MDF for the throne, aluminum foil for the gargoyles, paper mache for Jabba, used a 3D pen to create Salacious Crumb, and painted an artist's wooden mannequin to make a C-3PO there in the background. Very creative indeed. SkyGuy365 sent along this shot of his custom figures on a shelf, including a custom Zero the Hutt, which he did not make, but it's still extremely cool, and a scratch-made Cy Snoodles. He also sent this Micro Machines scale sail barge, which he made from scratch, which is very impressive, and something they really should have included in the original Micro Machines line, if you ask me. Speaking of sail barges, Tuva sent in some photos of a miniature sail barge that he designed in Bricklink Studio and then ordered the parts for off of Bricklink, and I think it's very impressive, something that I would definitely be interested in having in my own collection. And he also designed this Max Rebo piano, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. He also sent along this cool action shot. UltraZilla54 sent along this custom Barbie that he's turned into Ula, which must have been a lot of work to accomplish. The throne is completely scratch-built, apparently, and the Barbie itself has had various additions to make her into our favorite Twi'lek. In a similar vein, I guess, Emir sent along some sketches of Jabba's dancing girls, including Ula, that he did, and these are very impressive, I think. I like his style. Ryan sent along this picture of a custom holiday Malakili that he has in his collection. Apparently it was created by Greg Becker. Very cool stuff. Nikolai, the guy behind Red Empire Models in Russia, who also created the half-scale Rancor model that I featured on the channel a while back, sent along this Jabba that he sculpted in 1/18th scale, so that's 3 3/4 inch scale. And he also made a life-sized Jabba that you can see here. I know from experience that making a life-size Jabba is not easy, so this is really impressive. Obviously those and this one were not created just for this video, but Riley Replicas also sent along a picture of a life-size Jabba statue that he made for a client in France, including a full-size throne, which is pretty amazing. It was apparently constructed of styrofoam and then had a hard shell put on the top of it to give it some strength, but this is really an amazing job. Mikey sent along this picture of Santa the Hutt. He's sipping eggnog out of his hookah pipe there, and he's got a gingerbread man instead of a froggy snack. Very appropriate. Phil sent along this image of Jabba and Leia under the mistletoe. He apparently made this by initially photoshopping a photo from the movie and choosing another art piece that he wanted the style to mimic, and then using an AI-based website to kind of blend them together, which I thought was pretty interesting. Richard sent this photo of a shadow box that he's made with some Lego figures and an image of what appears to be at least some version of the Sideshow Collectibles Jabba figure in the background, and I think it's an interesting combination. Mikkel from Denmark sent along this Viking Jabba enjoying a sort of pagan holiday, drinking some mead from a horn. The text says, "Merry Christmas, Happy New Year" in Danish. Max, which is a different Max than I mentioned before, sent along this How the Crumb Stole Christmas artwork that he made with Salacious Crumb taking the role of the Grinch. And he also sent along this Rebo Band tour poster. Apparently they're doing a Christmas tour. Thank you very much, Max. Isaac sent along this Jabba, Gamorrean Guard, and Luke Skywalker that he made with a 3D printing pen, which is pretty impressive if you've ever used one of those things. Josh sent along some photos of a custom wooden throne that he's made with the help of his grandparents for his vintage Jabba figure. This is made of wood that his granddad carved, and then they added some little lion gargoyles that they found, and the cloth elements were made by his grandma. I thought it was really cool that they were working together to make this project come to life. Liam is a professional illustrator who watches the channel and has done lots of artwork of Star Wars characters, including a number from Jabba's Palace, which he's sent along. I really like this style and how it's so colorful, but also kind of minimalist in a way. I'll put a link to his website in the video description. Archie is a 10-year-old from the UK who has sent along this very nice image of Santa Jabba saying, "Have a Jabba Christmas, ho ho ho." And also this Max Claus and a Jawa elf. It says, "Have a Max Crimbo and a Jawa New Year." Crimbo is just kind of British slang for Christmas. Thanks very much, Archie, for sending these along. I hope that Santa will have something Jabba-related for you under the tree this year. Next, we have some very interesting computer animation from Ben. He calls it New in Box, and I'm just going to play it at normal speed for you first, and then at a slower speed so that I can point out a few things about it. Alright, it's starting over now, and we have a little Jabba figure holding a Life Day orb, being held by another Jabba figure with his parents in the background, and thereby a Christmas tree apparently, or maybe it's a Life Day tree. They're also in another box on a shelf next to various other toys like a TIE Fighter and Han's blaster. And it appears to be maybe in a basement occupied by a much larger Hutt, who I suppose you could argue is representing me, but I thought this was a pretty clever piece. Next up is a couple of drawings from Aiden, who is also in the last viewer submissions video. And we have Salacious Crumb and Jabba, who looks like he could use a Kleenex, but what else is new? Great job there, Aiden. Wordnouf from Instagram sent me this picture of Jabba as Santa Claus, and I really like when he uses the Lego Jabba figure but adds legs to him. It just really strikes me as funny for some reason. He's riding a sparkly reindeer, and here he is teaming up with Santa while holding a shotgun, as you do. Next we have another Santa Jabba, this time with a little Ewok on his lap, apparently holding a present. This is from Llama Art and Design on Instagram, and I'll link them in the video description. Next up we have a custom Jabba on throne figure and environment made by Mao from Mexico. Apparently they made it from a Power of the Force 2 Jabba figure that was very heavily altered. I wouldn't have known it was in there at all if they hadn't told me. This is really quite impressive. Speaking of custom figures, Montgomery has made quite a few custom guards for Jabba's sail barge and skiffs, and I like that he's concentrated on the human ones. Those are ones that really haven't gotten much love from Hasbro in the past, so that's pretty cool to see. Finally, we have Jordan's piece of Jabba decorating Han in carbonite with various ornaments, including a brain ornament, which you may recognize if you've seen my 3D printing video about making a Bomar monk. Very cool. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to send something in, and everyone who's watching as well. The channel seems to be growing a bit more nowadays. We've reached 26,000 subscribers or so, and I hope that trend continues in the new year. Have a very Merry Hutmas, everyone! As usual, this video was brought to you with the help of my patrons from Patreon, including these Palace VIPs right here and Angelica Brady. If you'd like to join them and help support the channel for as little as $1 a month, you can click the link in the video description for more information.